Hello, I'm Steve. A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here tonight and appreciate y'all being here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. As always, while you're in chat, if you have any questions during the presentation, throw them in chat and be respectful of mods, families, and each other. Tonight, we're going to be looking at, of course, a terrible tragedy and crime that occurred. And involving Audrey Cunningham. We've all seen it on the news and the developments of how this evil that walks the earth was able to get control and try to manipulate other family members and ultimately ending in the death of Audrey. And it's absolutely terrible. But we're going to be looking at a part of it that is and analyzing it from the standpoint of these predators, the grooming process of what they take and the way that they use words and form words. And we have a little teaser of some of his communications that he made with other family members, which is very revealing in several different ways. And you'll see that while everything is goal oriented, even in law enforcement, as we spoke about in other cases, that interviews and comments and the phrasing of words and put in certain contexts has the ability that all of those interview techniques are goal oriented or goal oriented. And it's the exact same thing with these predators. They all have a goal. And so we're going to be looking at the communications that we know that he had in those final hours with the mother of Audrey. And there's some good information in there that law enforcement will have looked at and would have used and will use in the coming days of the prosecution. But even in the investigative part of it, you'll see exactly why law enforcement, of course, was looking at those water areas. And because people subconsciously, doesn't matter if it's law enforcement or even predators or criminals, there certain things are slipped and Freudian slips into their communications. And we see that. And in this case, we'll see that also. And I did something a little bit different as far as everyone probably has seen the text messaging between Audrey's mother and this um, animal. And you're insulting animals, this evil presence that was in her life. But as we look at him, and I really don't wish to give him any recognition of his name, but there are pictures of him. But there's no better poster child of evil than what we see with this individual. And of course, this is a beautiful young child that absolutely um, uh, has been taken from us and taken from the world, taken from her family. She was loved by her family. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But for whatever reasons, this crime was allowed and it festered until it resulted in this evilness that we have, and this tragedy that we have. But and I have to give credit um, that when we are looking at this and we see this individual here, um, and DSM is probably about, as much name recognition as I want to give this individual right now. And while you're in chat, there's going to be other family members, and there are going to be people out there. This channel, we just don't go really much into the names and everything. But of course, with McDougal, I really don't care. He's evil. But I have to give it to Sleuth. I don't know if any of y'all ever watched Sleuth, but Annette Anna Lizette put this up, and this is probably one of the most profound statements that you could ever say. This is something like some redneck would say, but it's so true, basically, and it's absolutely brilliant. That Sleuth Intuition said exactly what Anna's husband would have said regarding on this one. This guy will get to spend the rest of his time in a place where he has been headed all his life. Absolutely, positively, 100% knocked it out of the park. This individual looking at him, seeing his criminal history, and then when we look at his comments, he has certain communication skills. He's very articulate as far as some of these criminals, but just in the point of grooming, not only from his past history of children, but in manipulating women. And you'll see that in his communications with the mother. And we're just going to focus on that one aspect of it tonight. And what I did is something I used to do in a lot of my interviews. It's really not the communications of the innocent victims that really matter. It's the words and the what is said by the offender. Those are the words that matter because they're goal oriented. You'll have an introduction process. You'll have a lot of build up, but in that last part of the interviews, and you'll see it in this individuals also, there's a goal that he wants, and he's going towards that goal, and he failed to achieve it for the fact that the mother, for whatever reason, ever how she developed this skill set, people can say it's women intuition. It's that they may have been exposed to other predators throughout their life. It's a learned skill, but whatever it was, just her common sense or whatever, more than likely saved her life. But ultimately, like I said, there's a loss of a child, and this individual realized that dealing with this woman, there's no way out of this, and so while he couldn't take care of his problem by eliminating two individuals, he was able to eliminate one, which is sadly a worst case scenario. But the mother, I have to give her kudos. No matter what anyone says about this lady, and there's going to be people out there judging, and which is unfair. She is a mother, and if you're into bashing families for whatever reasons, that this isn't the place for you. This is all about this child. It's all about Audrey, and it's about this evil that she crossed paths with, that knew her, targeted her, and was going to target other family members. But ultimately, this mother, for whatever reason, whatever brilliance came to her, that she went out there, she posted this stuff, made sure the world was aware, and applied ultimate pressure on this individual. And if that was law enforcement strategy or whatnot, I don't know, but it was brilliant. It worked out. It got this, that all the pressure is towards one person. It's this individual. And if you can spend a lot of time looking at this individual background and see exactly what Sleuth was alluding to when he said that this guy was heading to this one place in his life, and he's achieved it now. And there's no sentence that will be severe enough for this individual to face what he's done in his life. And if he hadn't been caught on this, that most certainly he would have went further and been a predator for far more victims. But before we get too much further into it, I just want to check through, get caught up. Paula Lee, CJK, single mom. And CJK says that hope they'll plea, and it's a DP case. I would imagine it will be a DP case. I cannot see any reason that it wouldn't. Dandy Linus, good to see you. Yes, then Tracy Turner mentions the Montgomery case. Absolutely, another tragedy involving a child. And it's good that he's found on guilty on all those charges. Copper Horse, good to see you. Di, let's see, Mitzi. If you have any questions, like I say, throw them in there. But like I said, I went in there and pulled only the statements made by the offender and this evil person, so that while we look at these statements, we're not distracted by the passion or the emotions of the mother, and we're looking at the cold, calculated comments that, regardless of what the reply was, and I want y'all to understand that he had a goal, regardless of what her of the mother's attempts at gathering information or other things, that he had a set goal, and he was going to ask certain questions, feed off of that, and try to guide it to a final goal. And he wasn't able to achieve that. And but which, like I said, kudos to the mother for that. That's absolutely amazing. D. Mead, good to see you. Karen Boardman, good to see you. Bruno Jones, Stacy, Maria, isn't it Thursday? Yes, it is. Nightbot's here. Federica, hello. Sharon, Mirrors, everybody's doing well. Thank you. Don't want to get too far behind. BGOG is here. Good to see you. Let's see. Single mom. Yes, it is absolutely sickening. Texas Ranger. Hello. Miranda Lee. Paula Lee. Amelia. Thank you, Amelia. Yes. It's sad that we have to come in here and talk about it, but I think there's certain things that we can realize that in our communications, and when we're faced with these predators in your own lives or with your children, I always realize that certain individuals out there, they have an agenda, and that agenda, when it's evil, they're going to manipulate you. And sadly, a lot of women realize this far greater than men. And is that, and that's how one of the many reasons that I appreciate Mrs. Steve, and I listen to Mrs. Steve, and including the women I work with in law enforcement, that there was many times during interview processes and even interviews in homes during domestic violence that the female officers were able to pick up on certain things that we, as the male officers, we of course are trained and we look for certain things, but sometimes we overlook things in the homes that for whatever reason the female will pick up on. And I've never been misled once that I can recall. Can't believe he was trying to set up the mom. Makes me wonder how many times he's done this before. He planned it. Absolutely. Grooming process. And that's one thing I also want you to look at, that everything that you see in this, as we go through these words, that he's playing to the mom. You have to reverse engineer it and see how he was playing the mom against Audrey, because he would have been doing the exact same thing to her, and would have been doing the same thing to any male influence inside the household to get control. These predators, everything they do is to achieve their goal. It's all about them. It's all about, and that's the thing I keep harping on and try to make everybody realize. that it has nothing to do with what your beliefs and what your thoughts and what you think the relationship is. It has nothing to do with it. It's all within the mind of the person that is this predator type personality, that they're going to guide the conversation. They're going to try and they're going to say certain things to gain your trust, certain things to gain your emotional response. They want to trigger you to go in a certain direction. And some of these predators are well versed in it. And it's absolutely amazing of how they can go out there and just blindside society. Although this individual didn't blindside anybody. You can look at him and see that with his shirt off or even with his shirt on, that this individual is absolutely evil. I know he and the dad were friends, but do we know how he came to texting with Audrey's mother? That would have come through that he had targeted, and I'm sure that law enforcement are going to be investigating any type of other activities of that he may have had with Audrey, and whatever grooming and whatever other crimes that were more than likely committed. Sad, absolutely terrible. But he, for him to seek out and find and identify, because he would have looked at Audrey and asked her and would have been able to note what is her weakness, what does she want most in life, and that's what we have to realize, that these predators, that's what they feed on. They come in there and they want to see what your weakness, what do you want most in life, and obviously Audrey wants some type of relationship with her family, with her mother. Who doesn't? And and he took advantage of that. And so I'm sure that everything that you see that he was feeding against the mother, taking the child and manipulating that information against the mother, he was reversing it and using everything that he could from this child's standpoint. He knew what the mother's weakness was. And I think that if you did a poll of women out there, there would be a large percentage of women that would have fallen for this ruse of what he was trying to do. And but she, for what, like I said, she was able to avoid it. I have, in my opinion, great confidence that is how come she's alive today. All right. Let me go down through chat right quick. I may not be all the names and everything, but just want to check if there's any more questions before I get in here. Yes, Maria, it is. It is extremely. I mean, it's horrible. How many times and what led to this? Watch Sleuth Intuition. He's another channel creator. He has shows daily and everything. If you get a chance, go check out his channel. We've collabed before in the past. He's intelligent, has a good channel, has a great community. Let's see, just trying to get caught up real quick. All right, get 8:10 anyway. All right, so let me go in here. But as we look at this individual, and these are his texts to the mother, and look at them, analyze these words, and see that we're not talking with someone that doesn't have some abilities of communications. He says, "Ain't nothing wrong with me. I wasn't meaning anything or meaning it disrespectful, but it's something that you would want and can't talk about it on here." And of course, what she says and everything, regardless, is that he has an answer for everything. And of course, you can read from this is that, well, why don't you call? And he said, I did call. And she makes a statement, and he says, "Why are you livid? I've never disrespected you. Your baby has been asking me about you." So he has thrown out the one thing that he knows this mother wants. And if you reverse engineer it, he's done the same to the child. He's thrown out that the child wants the mother, and he is, and probably has been grooming the child and is attempting to groom the mother at this moment as he moved forward with his communications. And he says, "Sweetie, I am as straightforward as it comes. If I was just talking to you to try to blank, I would have done tried." And which is probably one of the uh, most honest statements that he's going to ever make. And it's key to know that the mother doesn't interest him as far as wanting to have some type of relationship in that type of manner. This guy is a predator of children. It ain't the mother that he's interested in. It's, we have a history of targeting children, and he's still targeting children, in my opinion. And but he'll meet what's coming to him. And I look, it's terrible to say, but certain individuals shouldn't be allowed to be out in public. And he continues along this line of telling the mother, and that's what I want y'all to focus on, is that everything is focused on when he's communicating to the mother. He's putting the daughter as leverage. She asked me if I ever talked to you and if you were as bad as they say you are. And of course, the mother makes a reply back, and he said, "Oh yeah, they made it look like you're just horrible. I told her that you are doing good and are fun to hang with." And there's probably some truth in that this is part of his communications with the child. "Oh, I know your mother. We're great friends. She's fun to hang with. She's a great person. She loves you. She, whatever it would take for this individual to gain trust of this young child." And it's, like I said, it's unbelievable the extent, and everything in these predators are goal oriented, and how they come to these skill sets is absolutely remarkable. And of course, just reading it, well, how do you know this? And of course, he says, "Well, she asked me yesterday going to school," and which would have been a key moment for her to realize that, oh, my daughter's going to school with this individual, are being taken. And so we know that there are certain things, but she, for whatever reason, she may have noted it and was going to act on it, but wasn't soon enough. And she does all the time. Yes, exactly. Yes, she is still not allowed outside by herself in the evening. They told her that you are in the woods. She is confused about the situation, but I told her that you are not hiding in the woods, but we talk. And once again, you see a relationship that he's saying that Audrey and I, we're friends. We talk about you constantly, and which is his end to the child's mind, building trust. And it's just, like I said, it's something that we must all be aware of, that this is how these predators operate. And in his world of psychology, I mean, he has an understanding of human nature. This guy is no fool. I mean, he's a criminal, he's evil, but he's nobody's fool. She is confused about the situation, but I told her that you are not hiding in the woods, but we talk. And I mean, he knows how to use words and certain mannerisms to build that trust, because he's trying to build trust with a mature woman, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. And so I see no difficulty with him being able to take a child in their limited emotional state and immaturity and leading them into whatever um, uh, misguided world or evil that he's interested in. All right, let me get back over here. Yes. Thank you, Copper Horse. Sleuth Intuition is a true crime channel. Can be found at this link. Absolutely. Thank you. Texas Rangers here, Gil Moser. Good to see y'all. Yes, absolutely. This is it. Your baby, and what mother wouldn't follow that? And a large percentage of women would, but there was something that either through prior meetings, prior communications, that she realized about this individual. Now, Mrs. Steve looks at this individual and says, as everyone knows, his eyes, and that this is pure evil. Let's see. Daily Survivor, good to see you. Paula Lee. Yes, he was determined to get this child. He'd already accomplished that. This is my opinion, but I think that was accomplished prior to this, and that there may have been certain things, and he was realizing as she grows older and more mature, or something was happening during these contacts, that he saw that, oh, this is going to be a limited time frame of me being able to have certain accesses and commit certain crimes. And he was hunting a quick way out. Just my opinion, but that's what it looks like. I got to know, member for 8 months. Can dad or grandma be held responsible? Thank you for your 8 months. Appreciate it. While you're in charge of a child, and a lot of bad decisions can be made, and if they love this child, they're going to be regretting it for the rest of their lives. Now, will the DA and them look at it, that was there certain things and that occurred? There's always that possibility. I don't know the inner relationships between all the family members and how this guy ultimately was able to gain the trust to be able to take care of this child, but that would be looked at. Marion Tate, do we know if the little girl likes this man? It wouldn't matter. I'm sure that in her mind, at some point during the grooming process, she thought that, oh, this is an adult that is paying me attention. This is an adult that plays games with me, tells me stories, talks about things I love, talks about my family, talks about my mother that I want to see, or whatever her weaknesses are. You know, when you have these predators, they're the greatest thing in that individual's life, or that's how they gain and are able to manipulate and gain trust. And it's all a disguise. It's, there's a Pennywise to the max on this one. There is no doubt that this individual looks exactly what as he is, and sadly so. And law enforcement officers would have known it, and it didn't shock. I'm sure it didn't shock a lot of judges, didn't shock parole officers, didn't shock a lot of police officers. And that's something else we have to remember. This isn't the only individual out there that is capable of this, and the only evil that is on this planet. There's hundreds of thousands or millions of them around the world, and even in the United States, that these individuals exist. And there is, there's only one way that you can ultimately absolutely stop them. And this individual will be stopped from this point forward. If he had a previous bad encounter with a child, why wasn't he listed as a predator? I saw where he had been, and I don't know what Texas, and I don't know what the registering requirements are for different types of crimes. Was he charged with something that would have made him registered and he pleaded out to a lesser? I don't know. But he had been charged with manipulations before in the records I saw. What was the motive on this tragedy? With this tragedy, I mean, you're talking about a child predator, and these individuals, um, there's no reforming them, and their main goal is be able to prey upon a certain sect of society, and other crimes can evolve out of that in the cover up of those activities that he has. But yes, it's going to be that being a child predator, he's a child predator, and of course, it led to a far more um, terrible tragedy other than his preying upon a child. That's my opinion. All right, I got 8:15. Let me go ahead and get on in here. Um, let's see here. She's confused, but there were some conversations about other male family members, and then of course this offender says not him. Like I said, I told him I talked to you. Is that true or not? I doubt it, but it's possible. And regardless, it's a reply to get her confidence and to get her trust that, oh, there's a lot of people know that I talk to you. It's not only your child, it's not only Audrey, it's other family members, neighbors, whoever she was going to throw out there. His reply is, oh, they know I talked to them, and then we go into, well, don't, but I might take you out to the dock to fish and accidentally pull up with her to fish. Now we're setting the stage of how we could have a meeting. How can we lure her somewheres? How can we get her into a isolated area? And we have to also realize that in this one statement is a huge clue of where she is. This guy gives up one of the things that he also does. He fishes, um, and he has he may not own a boat, but he has the ability to possibly obtain a boat, or has um, uh, be able to give the ruse that yes, we have boats. I'll meet you there on the dock. We'll go fishing. But he says I will pull up. So more than likely, he has access to a boat, and he fishes. And so law enforcement would look at that. Oh, water, water, water. Um, where would he have taken her? What accesses? What water points could he have used? What are the docks, the marinas, the bridges, boat ramps? Things that he would have been known to, because we often see that these offenders throughout their lives, they'll go back to these places, and that's where they do dump sites. And that's what occurred with this. Um, and then he says, not at all. I'm your daughter's favorite person, and she will not tell. Once again, trying to build the confidence with the mother that he's already built with the child, that they have secrets. And how does he know that that she'll be able to keep a secret? Because more than likely, she's already keeping secrets. And so when you look at this, and what is his goal? I want to meet the mother. I've got the daughter, and but she wants to meet you. I told you I am on your team. I will do what I can. Everything is reinforcing. I'm with you. It's not right what they're doing, keeping you from your daughter. I'm your answer. Meet with me, and we'll be able to keep secrets and make sure that I right the wrong that's being done against you. Um, it would not, as long as no one says anything about it being set up, no one or set up, no would even know, and she won't say anything to them. I mean, Justin can walk around the park and we can just talk to you, like for real, for real. And when you look at it in that this is his goal, where, as you have an introductory stage of communications, you get of what we're talking about, the relationship, you get that substance, the subject matter, and then how can I fix this for y'all? And this is our goal. But although the goal isn't to create a mother-daughter relationship, The goal is what this individual will do once he has control of both you and the daughter at the same point in time. Now, do I think the daughter would have ever been able to walk out on that dock? No. I think that was just that he wouldn't have been able, or he wouldn't have wanted to try to. That would have just been a meeting place, and we would go to another location. And he sees the hesitancy on her part. It's okay. We don't have to. Um, and I see the wrong with it, and I'm trying to fix what I see wrong. You're not a bad person. Um, and she deserves the chance to know that. And of course, that draws her right back in. You won't, that uh, she says, "Oh, I'm about to lose this opportunity." And as most mothers would have, that yes, she eventually agreed, and certain things had to to occur for that to never occur. As he says, "Okay, I'll take her to school tomorrow." Yes, I'll take her to school and have you on the phone. And at 7 o'clock, this is when, of course, the last known, from what I've seen of any of sighting of her, of Audrey. And so he had a plan of that at some point in these early hours that he was going to have her on the phone to be able to finalize this ruse and get control, because I believe he ultimately knew exactly what was going to go on from 7 o'clock all the way to the closing of day. And something happened. And because mom was on board, but mom didn't. Or there was something that Audrey says or wouldn't do. Was she going to advise mom of the dangers or advise mom of what was going on? But there was something that triggered and ultimately led to, oh, we've got to stop this. And we see the interactions between the mother and him. He says, "Good morning," and morning. And the mother says, "I hope to hear from you." And by the afternoon, she sees that, oh, she realizes it's not going to happen. And she says, "So I know it's not going to be a thing today, but when she's really, um, when she's ready, please let me know. And y'all have a good day, man." And he says, "Yes, ma'am." Um, and then shortly after, of course, we have this. Have you seen Audrey? I dropped her off at the bus and she didn't get on, hasn't been gotten home. And then the mother made that clarification and accusation, "What have you done?" And which is her ability to recognize the threat to her daughter and to herself. Absolutely unbelievable. All right. But I wanted y'all to see how the grooming process goes on, not only by these predators to the children, but to others involved, the parents, the mothers, the fathers. It can be to anyone. And these individuals are well versed in those goal oriented abilities. And it's absolutely amazing how that happens. But anyway, let me get into chat. Gosh, good to see you. All right. If y'all have any questions, throw them in there. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to try. Um, yes, absolutely. This is the last thing that this poor child ever saw. So disturbing. Yeah, and we have to figure out, the laws are there. It's just how do we get the child protective services and the court systems to put it out there? Yes, in a camper out back is what I understand, Anna. Miss Cyrene, good to see you. That's very kind of you to say, for Sleuth. Yes, law enforcement. The CJK says what's disturbing is not only did this creep live right there, but so supposedly the dad had another male roommate. Why? Some seedy things going on. Hopefully, the truth will be told. Law enforcement is going to investigate. The search warrants are going to be broad, and they're going to go in and try to seize and make sure that um, are there other people out there, other victims, potentials, or existing victims? Because this predator here, um, he has a history. Mirrors, $1.49 super sticker. Thank you. If y'all don't know, we get blue lights anytime on y'all's support for that, and thank y'all. Yes, and you're exactly. That's why I was, and that is the point of why I did this is to see that you can see from the early introductions, you would think that if you was in a talking to a therapist that was trying to tell you about your child or trying to in any shape, form, or fashion of how we can reconcile the differences and bring you back together as a whole. This individual has the skill sets that he's trying to do that, but he's a predator, and absolutely amazing how these individuals operate. Like I said, if there's anything that's contributing, law enforcement will look at district attorneys, and we'll just have to see what the situation is on that because I don't know the full story behind it, but we will find out, or at least law enforcement will check into it. And Alina, good to see you. Sarah Tequila. You are absolutely correct, Miss Sarah. These predators, their mindset is how can I work to get my final goal, and they're just absolutely amazing how evil works. Betty Magers, Joan. Yeah, there's a lot of judges out there that, for whatever reasons, and is it, you would think a judge would have some, in some of these cases, you think to yourself, is this the best that the courts can do? And why do the courts make these mistakes and continue along this? Is it being bound by the law? And if it is by the law, what can we do to change it? Yes, and you're probably more um, along the lines of that he was losing control of Audrey, and he felt that she would be able to, or she was going to reveal his actions. Yes, and his little um, uh, storyline, there's several options that he could have done, and that he was alluded to that she goes walking in the woods, or she's not allowed to right now because they say that you're out there in the woods. Um, but yeah, he sets up several storylines. Yes, Miranda Lee, I would imagine that there was something um, that he had done to her prior to that he didn't want known to the local law enforcement. I'll agree with that. A man with no soul. Yeah, I did see that, and for whatever reason, I just chose one picture. But yeah, I saw that. where his face was all squished up. Uh, T. Kinsella says, how do we prevent things like this? There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these predators. And unfortunately, in the future, we'll see other criminal acts just as terrible and horrible as this one. Um, I've seen where people, did you see the video of her giving a tattoo? I've seen where people have said it's to the father and not him, so I don't really know. Although you couldn't mess up his tattoos. Yeah, CJK, there's a lot of different reasons of how they might have met. None of them good. Hello, Barbara Hall. Good to see you. Glad you're here tonight. And it sounds like yes, the large rock things. We'll probably get into another. We'll look at some of the crime scene stuff as some more information comes out. But like I said, when he made that statement about access to boats, water, fishing, then yes, these individuals, he understands the power of water and DNA and everything else, but he doesn't understand that there's a lot of, and when we look at what eventually led to his um, being captured, as you can see in the um, affidavit information from phone, digital footprints, um, his rope, vehicles, all of this. Um, I don't see any out for this individual in the court system. Yes, I think she was under some type of court order that would have gotten her in trouble. Um, I haven't seen that court order yet. It's probably out there. I just haven't seen it. Yes, that's what I'm saying is that I'm your daughter's favorite person. She will not tell, indicating that he knows she won't tell because she already has secrets that she's keeping for him. Um, and because they have that relationship, it is pretty creepy. Kelly V, good to see you. OCD, Helen Keller, you better believe it. It don't matter uh, that just his communications and seeing the grooming of the mother. That yes, I believe I saw somewhere where there is a time point that she was seen by someone in the early morning hours, from my understanding, which we'll get clarifications on that. But I believe someone said that she was seen in the early morning hours. Doesn't mean it's true because you're going to have every type of declaration made. Law enforcement knows though. They know the timeline, and you could be correct that uh, she may have already uh, been deceased by the time some of these communications. I have no doubt she was deceased by the ones in the afternoon. But law enforcement be able to look at his digital footprint and see exactly when he visited each of these locations that were key in the investigation. Yeah, Josh, I don't know what the final or the court order against the mother was, but my understanding, and if you read this, is that yes, he takes her to school, which would have been a huge red flag for most mothers. especially if you're suspicious of an individual. But from this understanding and how he put and did the wording, that I'll take her to school tomorrow, and yes, that he had access to having some time alone with her. How he built that trust up for somebody is absolutely amazing. Why someone would fall for that. Miss Irene, $20. TRW should. Oh, TRW should have 100,000 subs, but enjoying the small, great group here immensely. Info, presentation, expertise, Mr. Steve does. Uh, uh, I'm sure that meant TCW, but I appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and we'll get there eventually. I look forward to building a channel that we can have a huge impact, working the cold cases, and that's through support and through the growth of the channel. And we'll get there. I have no doubt. Looking forward to it, and it's absolutely appreciate that, Miss. Yes, you would think that there's parole and probation and everything else that this individual would have had, but yeah, but we see that a lot. They're overworked. Barbara, 199. Yes, he absolutely did use the mother. And as I said, these predators have the ability, the uncanny ability to go in and talk to anyone. And it's just not the ones for children. These predators of women, of regardless of the age, they come in there and just within a little bit of using some interview techniques of ever how they gained that skill set of being able to identify their next victim or potential victim. Anna Lavender, $5 super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate that. Means a lot to us. Robert, Mr. Steve, your expertise and kind heart are a beacon in the world with these stories. Thanks for always providing us with your knowledge. Absolutely. Like I said, I hope I had a pretty good career in law enforcement. And I think it's valuable that we share what information we have and hopefully through looking back at these cases and what we know of that we make people aware of you know, there's a lot of evil out there, and just because this one individual is off the street doesn't mean that the others are, and there's plenty of them out there. No, it's not a dumb a question, Maria. Who gave him permission to take her that day? I thought the dad would take her to the bus. I have no idea what the relationships of why, for the fact that we know he had permission, for the fact there was no one saying that 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7:30, or 8. Hey, Audrey's missing from the house. Where is she? I was supposed to take her to the bus. So through the act of deduction, um, it was known that she would have been taken to the bus stop. Was it going to be by this individual? But everyone took for granted. And yeah, I don't know what the pecking order of how he gained that ability, but it will be looked at. Yes, Sandy. I'm just glad this isn't one of those horrible, mysterious, unsolved cases that goes on for years. Doesn't mean that he's not involved in others because this guy is a predator. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I like that. Predator of interest. That's exactly right. Josh Posh says, I still don't understand how all this was meant to aid him in hiding or getting away with it. I can't quite understand it. Well, the theory that is out there and has been posed by several channels out there, from Chris to Gray to criminality to all the channels out there. There's a lot of them out there that's covered this. That uh, was it his intent that if he could get control of the mother and having these text messages that when law enforcement come to him and when the family says, "Hey, have you seen Audrey? Have you seen so and so?" And this individual could say, "Oh, I talked to uh, um, the mother and I took her to the park. They wanted some alone time together. And I turned my back, went to the store to get some drinks, came back, and they were gone." And was that the ruse that he was going to use? Not that they actually were gone, but that he, of course, was disposed of, possibly committed another homicide and able to cover whatever criminal activities he may have had with the child and by the commission of two homicides, cover up that storyline forever. And has he done this before? That's something that law enforcement will look at to ensure that he hasn't. Black Widow has been a member for 5 months. Thank you. You're lurking. We don't like. You don't lurk. You're here. Black Widows don't lurk. Uh, uh, Lauren's 58, 999. I like your show, Steve. You're a true professional. Thank you for your great presentations. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Appreciate your support. I don't know where the father is currently, but some people say he was away for working. Barbara says they look like the jailhouse. Yes, tattoos. Absolutely. Some of this I would agree but his communication skills and texting abilities, and not all of this was created by spell check. And so some of this, although there's moments like, if you read some of my text messages, you would think of, wow, Amy Hicks. What an amazing community you got, Mr. C. I feel lucky to be part of it. I'm proud of my community, and I thank you for saying that. I'm glad you are a part of it. I don't think that this may even be an option. History on her foot. My prediction is he will plead to avoid the DP. I don't know if that's going to be an option, and it shouldn't be an option, my opinion. And Texas has a pretty good history. Mr. Beer, $5. Speculation, but the dad is probably feeling so devastated, whether he knew Don's background or not. He is grieving, and we shouldn't shame him. Absolutely, 100%. You are correct. Um, fathers, mothers, and some of them are absolutely in some cases, but we don't know about this case. Let's wait and see what the final verdict is and what evidence. But right now, they've got the person that we should focus on as being the evil one. Law enforcement is doing their due diligence and will make sure that justice is served. And if it's others to be brought into it, we'll just have to allow the judicial system and the courts to do that. You're correct, groomer. Mind of Monsters is in here. Good to see you. Another great channel. I don't know exactly what the time frame of the family knowing him. I really don't right now. I wonder what kind of defense this guy will have. I don't know, but he will have something. Al on the prowl. Good to see you. Glad to hear, man. Mind of Monsters. Very kind of you, Barbara. Very kind of Jamie and everyone also. Thank y'all. Big Silly, I adore you and your lovely wife's accent. Yeah, we're Georgia. We spreading our accent to Florida right now, and this is absolutely true. Predators always they seek out, and once they identify your vulnerabilities, they absolutely pounce upon them. That's very nice of you, Anna. But Anna is talking about our True Crime Web Foundation that we have. It's on our True Crime Web website, and it helps fund us traveling the country, working cold cases for families. And I think last year I put right at 20,000 miles on the road through this foundation that allows us to go out and help families. And I absolutely appreciate that recognition. That's very kind of you. I tend to agree that they shouldn't be knowing how to do tattoos. Jamie Hicks, Waffle House. I don't know. I have a timeline on that we'll be looking at in the future, but I didn't pull the timeline for this show. Yeah, it makes no sense how our court systems. There should be a line that if you commit certain offenses, eh, you don't get to do that stuff. Yeah, huge. As a man, I'm suspicious of any men that take an interest in children that aren't related to them, especially little girls. Absolutely. That's one of the things, I take my grandchild to the park, and of course, while you're sitting there, you're constantly on alert, or I am, um, looking for individuals that shouldn't be at the park, people that show up without children, or with a camera, or sitting at the edges, and you worry about that stuff. Although I, while I worry about it, I am prepared to make sure that nothing happens to him. Him and Adam Montgomery should share a cell. Yes, or go on a fishing trip. I like to take them on a fishing trip. They enjoy fishing. I like to do that. Yeah. Who would think that this is, if babysitters had to be certified, qualified, and photographed, you wouldn't have this one there. Or if he was, he would never be selected. And oh man, Miss Cyrene, a member for 12 months, Best Mods, and of course Mrs. Steve. Yes, she's somewhere. She's in the other part of the house. She's on a computer somewhere. Eb, good to see you. Laconic. Great name. Let's see here. I'm getting caught up, guys. Boston Christian, good to see you. Andy Linus, Lisa, what a monster, and I would not be surprised if the entire family allowed him to live on the property or on any type of drugs. That's possible, absolutely. I see where you go. I could understand why that might be a link, but even if they are, does not ever give the right for these predators to be out in society and that under some type of drug induced moment of weakness that they prey upon these children. You can read, and that's something that we, law enforcement and um, the professionals will look at. While he's making these comments, this isn't something that is in a drunken, intoxicated stupor. He's able to make uh, uh, complete sentences or complete thoughts and carry out his goal oriented speech to gain whatever uh, control he wishes. And so he won't be able to go down that route, or I don't think so, or that'd be my argument to the DA. Mr. Beer, $5. Mr. Steve, there seems to be a common denominator with predators. We always talk about the mistakes, but do they even care about being caught? Yes, they do care about getting caught, and that's what there are certain things that occur that at crime scenes that in law enforcement we're taught that if we see certain actions that result in homicides and certain things that can occur to a victim, we know that these are indicators of prior acts and that they may have had faced charges, courts, had to do some time, and now that they've are out and they've reestablished themselves as a predator once again, and they've had to commit homicides, that there are some indicators of that prior um, uh, violations and crimes committed. But they everything these predators do is to avoid being caught and facing penalties for their crimes, and and for their evilness. But yeah, they care about getting caught, and so sometimes they'll absolutely commit that ultimate crime, that homicide, to hide their secret. Because there's two people that have secrets. It's the offender, and in this case, it was Audrey, and he took he took one of them out of the equation, and absolutely terrible. Eileen, good to see you. Sanhu, good to see you. Thank you. And this is a very good statement. Bad news is not every predator looks like this guy. Absolutely. He just poster child. True crime. Mr. Sunshine says hello. He said that uh, he will be walking the next coffee cup date we have. Excellent. Um, let me know when that is. I look forward to seeing y'all. Yeah, you're two sides of a coin. A mature soldier can be regarded to be the predator with certain skill sets and disciplines. Absolutely. There's, um, you know, in law enforcement, you have the same things as far as um, do I enjoy, um, and even with the work that the foundation does since I've retired and going out working cold cases, um, while I'm sad of what I have to do and the families that have uh, suffered these losses. But I absolutely think that it's absolutely necessary that I approach it of searching out and finding evil. And if that makes me a predator of hunting for evil, uh, I can live with that. Yes. And Barbara says, I saw a woman at a nail salon where the lady at the nail salon had a man on FaceTime trying to take her daughter. Then the daughter walked up to the mother and told her she was uncomfortable. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, these predators absolutely are crazy. Indiana Nana, don't worry. There's no dumb questions other than not asking the question. Okay. Almost caught up, guys. Yes, Mr. Beard. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for answering my question. I get it now. The homicide is to hide the other things they don't want to get caught for. Absolutely. Worst case scenario, and you see that a lot. Some of these offenders early on in their lives, they commit the crimes, leave witnesses, and they learn from leaving witnesses. That's what got them served time, and they'll take steps to make sure that no more will witnesses be allowed. Let's see, what is Colleen? I saw Colleen in here. Did oh, Colleen says my granddaughters go to Livingston, and up until 3 years ago lived down from Aldrich. You never know where evil lives. I mean, it's absolutely. Oh, Mr. Beer, gifted 5 true Crime Web memberships. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Means a lot to us. All righty, guys. But I want to thank everybody being here. I want to appreciate everybody and be respectful of each other. The questions asked. If you like this video, subscribe, give it thumbs up, share it, and in all the areas that you can, because through the growth of this channel, it allows us to go out and help these families that need it. And we are making progress. Um, we've got things that are going on from Texas to across the United States, and we got some studies that are going to be going on this year. So we're going to have a great year, and it's all due to the support of this community and as this channel grows. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all. But anyway, like I say, give it a thumbs up, share, appreciate it. Y'all stay safe out there, and we'll see y'all soon, guys.